Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the October 12th. Today's the 12th or 11th?
Today is the 11th.
Yeah, welcome to the October 11th meeting of the Historic Resources Board. Would staff please call roll?
Yes, Deputized Chair Martin Bernstein.
Here.
Board Member Wimmer.
Here.
Board Member McKinnon.
Here.
Board Member Shepherd.
Here.
Thank you. We have a quorum.
Okay. First item on our...
Council Member Holman, present.
And first of all, for our agenda, I'd like to call if there are any oral communications. If there are any members of the public like to speak on any item not on our agenda, please come up to the speaker. And I see none. Next is if there are any agenda changes, additions, or deletions.
There are none.
Okay, thank you. City official reports, any meeting schedule and assignments? I don't believe there are any.
Well, I think we're doing pretty good in October to have two meetings, so we had one in September and this one in October. I don't believe we're going to meet again in October, so we'll look towards November.
Okay, good, thank you. All right, study session, there's nothing listed on study session. Next is action items, and I'll read the item. Quasi-judicial, so if everyone has any disclosures, we'll do that. 1107 Cowper Street, request for review of an individual review application for consistency with the Professorville Historic District guidelines. The project includes the demolition of an existing two-story home and construction of a new two-story home. Environmental assessment, it's been deemed it is in accordance with the guidelines section of new construction. And shall staff have a presentation for us?
Thank you, Mr. Bernstein. Graham with the planning staff. Just wanted to, I don't have like a formal presentation, but just kind of to give a recap of where we are and why we're here. The application that's before you today was on your previous calendar and previous public hearing on the 27th of September. At that meeting, the HRB looked at the project as it was presented as an individual review application for a two-story home in Professorville. The board weighed in on a number of aspects of the design of the project and had a discrete list of specific things that they wanted to see returned to the board. The board did approve the project overall, but with that discrete list, asked for those items to come back on the consent agenda. So those particular things, there are four, as I mentioned, four things, and so I'll let the applicant, if it's okay with the board, review the changes that they've made to the project. Okay,
thank you, Graham. Okay, any questions for staff before we invite the applicant to speak? Okay, I'd like to welcome the applicant if you'd like to present your project today. Thank you. Oh,
Hi.
let me, I'm sorry for interrupting, I'm sorry. One other thing we just need to do administratively. This is being quasi-judicial. Are there any disclosures any board members need to make other than ones we made last week or 2 weeks ago? Okay, sorry for the interruption. Please continue.
Hi, nice to see you again. So we responded to 4 items that you asked us to from last time, and I just want to walk through those changes. So the first change that we made was to the arch area in the center of the front porch. We brought the trim that was on the horizontal sides across to kind of beef up that arch area. And then we also brought in the 2 front columns, which made the arch feel a little bit rounder than it felt last time. The second change that we made was to the chimneys. Before, they were sloped a little bit at the top. Mm-hmm. We took that away and brought them straight up, and then we detailed the top of the chimney cap, thinking ahead for what venting requirements would be needed for that chimney. And then the third change that we made was about the plinth, so we wanted to emphasize that. Mm-hmm. We increased the height of the trim along the water table, and then we also increase the height of the boards along the bottom, and we decided to paint them a different color to help emphasize that. The last change that we made was to the grading at the front porch area. One of the comments we got last time was that typically in Professorville, the houses are a little bit more raised up than ours. So by grading that front porch area, we could add another step. This is something we need to check in with planning to make sure that that's okay. And then the last change that we made was to the windows. The window in the lower left corner was just 2 smaller windows. It's now 1 larger window. And then the windows in the top right gabled area were just 2 windows. Now they're 3 to mimic the other side, so it's more symmetrical. And we also increased the size of the windows in the gable ends a little bit. And that was it. Those are the changes that we made.
Okay, thanks. Any questions for the presenter? Kristen, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I do have one. Looking on what we have in front of us, it looks like the floor is 12 inches above grade, right?
The floor is,
Yeah, I'm looking at the first floor is 51.7 and grade is 50.7. So the floor is 12 inches above grade, right?
that on average, yes. In the center, it's now a little bit lower due to our grading changes.
Oh, I see, and your drawing does show that. I see that. It does drop. Okay,
Yeah.
good. Okay, good. Okay, that's how you can get the 3 risers there. according to-
Yeah,
Gotcha. Okay, good. Okay. All right. Okay. Oh, that was my question. Any other questions, board members? Seeing none. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Okay. So looking for other comments or questions or discussion or motions. Okay. Board Member McKinnon.
Well, I think the overall appearance is much improved from what we had before, so I would certainly endorse this project.
Board Member Wimmer.
I agree with Board Member McKinnon that I think it looks great. I think you guys have done a fantastic job. And I hope that going through this process, even though it seems a little daunting at times, you end up with a better project in the end. I really hope so. But it's beautiful.
Thank you.
May I add?
Oh, yes.
Yes, I concur. I think this building now is significantly more compatible than the existing structure. And I think that's worth commenting on because we are making an important decision in endorsing an opportunity to actually tear down a building in Professorville. But this is really a far superior design.
Okay. Look for any more comments or motions. Second.
Chair Bernstein, I have just one point of clarification because the applicant was asking a question about the height of the porch.
Oh,
So
yes.
I've taken a look at the municipal code, and what you have is this 12-foot height restriction for the porch. Section 1812 of the municipal code, which deals with the R1 zone, specifies that it be no more than 12 feet in height. It doesn't say above grade, but I think that the conservative approach would be to say that it is above just grade, which for the purposes of R1 is existing grade prior to any grading. So that would be staff's interpretation of that. And so that would impact, the one change that Kristen was talking about.
All right. So then that porch would not be counted for additional FAR or lot. Is it lot coverage or FAR that triggers?
It's floor area ratio.
Floor area, yeah.
It would, if it's higher than 12 feet above existing grade, then it
Okay.
would count twice towards the FAR.
Right,
But if
okay.
it's at 12 feet or less, then it would not count.
Okay. So this won't trigger that doubling then.
I'm sorry, can you say that?
This will not double then that FAR.
Well,
calculation.
it would if it's more than 12 feet above grade, which I think is
Above existing grade or?
It's
the-
not.
existing. It's not?
We were just differentiating between existing and new.
Okay.
So we're saying that it's less than 12 feet above existing grade, but since we're lowering the grade, it would be more than 12 feet above new grade. That's the question.
Oh. We can look into it. What's the differential? Is it
It's about 6 inches.
6 inches? I think we can condition it one way or the other so that it would
Okay.
conform. Yeah.
Yeah, the ordinance says it's exist above, 12 feet above existing grade.
Existing
Okay,
grade,
all right,
yeah.
yeah. Because the light wells are lower and, all those things. Good. Okay, thank you. Okay, so that works for your house design, I
Yeah,
believe.
yeah.
Good. Okay, looking for any motions?
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the project as presented today.
Looking for a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. Is there any other discussion on this, on the motion? Second. Okay. All right. I will also comment that I do appreciate your responses to our questions last time for the detailing and the windowing. And I think it's a good solution to, there is the ordinance, and then, for example, that 12-foot issue, and then there's also then the aesthetic concerns that you heard expressed from the board. So I think that was a good creative solution to meet the ordinance and still attend to your goals for the project. Okay. All right, so I'll be supporting this project also. Okay, all those in favor saying aye? Aye. Aye. Okay, that passes unanimously with the 4 board members that are present today. Okay, thank you for that presentation.
Thank you.
All right, next on our agenda would be approval of minutes from 2 weeks ago, or our last meeting, September 27th. Any motions to approve or amend or correct?
Well, I'll just make a comment. There was certain areas where it did not come through on the tape right there. And I know the one area where I brought up the recommendation for increasing the height of the porch was completely obliterated from there, so.
It's a problem. I'll just weigh in here as Amy French. We don't know what happened with the videotape. I've looked at it personally to see, and it just skips. So there's no capturing the minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the only recommendation I would add after the minutes, and that I did make a recommendation that we increase the height of the porch. And my comment was completely non-represented there, so if we could modify the minutes to reflect that, that would be good.
Okay, so
Maybe we can find that
I can't find a particular page it's on right now, but that's
It's packet page 37.
page 37. Let's see.
Because you are talking in that paragraph about the porch.
What page are you on?
page 37.
Packet page 37 or minute page 37, or minutes page 11.
No, I think it was before that.
Okay. Well, I guess the message is that there are some things that are missing from these minutes,
Yes.
and then at least we have a recorded comment of what you're making now. So,
Right.
Thank you.
That's right.
all right, motion to approve or amend further? Okay.
I'll move to approve the minutes.
Would the maker like to include the amendment too, with your motion?
Yes, in consideration of the the comments that Michael just made, that some of his
Okay.
original comments were missing.
Approve the minutes with the amendments? Then, that's a motion. I'll
Yes.
second it.
I think the amendment is to recognize that there was more that wasn't captured. Generally, your comment about the porch, is that correct? Just the porch?
Yes.
Because, I mean, we aren't going to capture the rest of the minute.
Okay, all approved?
Oh, we got to have a second here.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, saying aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, that passes for those 4 members present. Thank you. Next is subcommittee items. Any subcommittee items?
None.
Any board member questions, comments, and announcements? Board Member Wimmer.
Yes, I am working on a new application that we haven't formally submitted yet at 281 Addison. And I don't know if it's something that I could bring in as a study session, but I think we'll just submit it and go through the process. I don't know if it's, I think it's probably an HRB review, exterior changes. I don't know if it's staff level or HRB, but I'm pretty sure.
Is it listed as a category?
No, but it's a Group A resource.
I don't want to,
So
we shouldn't talk about it too much. but-
I think we'll just go through the submittal application and see where it goes.
Okay, any other board member questions, comments, and announcements? Yes, Councilmember Holman.
I don't have the exact date, but there will be coming to the council, hopefully before the end of the year, and there are public comments still being accepted until November 7th, I think it is, on the new updated zero waste plan. And the reason I bring it up to this body is because it does involve deconstruction and salvage. And I think it might be of interest to this group to get a hold of that copy and comment on it. You can contact Phil Boble in Public Works Department. He'd be happy to share it with you all.
Okay. That's a excellent program coming up. I've been involved in about 4 projects now where we do the deconstruction and the tax credits. Are board members familiar with the federal tax credit? Yeah.
No tax credit,
It's a great program. I mean, it's win-win-win all over the place. So, good. Yeah, good. So that'd be good to,
Yeah, I can send it out.
okay, that'd be great to see.
Contact Phil on this.
Okay, and then when it comes to council, does that count for something for council to adopt, or?
Yes, it would be an amendment to the current zero waste program.
Excellent, good.
This is something personally I've been waiting on for like 13 years.
Yeah.
Since we first adopted our C&D, or Construction and Demolition Ordinance.
Yeah,
And finally, we're getting where to, and with the support, and I would say the encouragement of Phil Boble, who's been wonderful in Public Works to try to address this.
excellent, good. I think it was George Bush the Younger who made that federal law, that deconstruction tax credit. So, yeah, I think it's a great program. Okay, any other comments, questions, or announcements? Good. Okay, I think that brings us to adjournment. Thank you.